Here we go. Hello everyone, welcome to Monaco. 60 years into the past. Yeah, the session just moved to Quali. And Quali's 30 minutes. But I for sure don't want to full push for the whole 30 minutes because that could mean at some point certain death, and if you crash, Quali's over. So yeah. We need to return back to pit box and so on. Alright, well, let's go for a lap. Actually, I think my camera is a bit off. And my chat is off. There we go. Hi Tsari. Yeah, I don't know. FFB on RF2 and AC. No explanation there. Like the only... Wait, what's going on with my throttle? Like, why does it not go to 0? Uh-oh. Huh? Well, it goes to 0 in pedals. So that... Oh, okay, that's I guess filtered throttle. So that means that... I just auto-clutch. Of course. Where is my FAB reset? Okay. It was auto clutch, keeping the engine on. Anyway, here we go. I think I need to change a little bit the camera gain. This is so scary. Something is practice and something is actual official session. So this is, it's not the Honda, it's the Eagle. Or well, in this mod it's called the Beagle because no licenses and so on. But yeah, it's the American team. And into the scariest corner. This corner is so fast, the chicane. But in practice, obviously you sand it, right? Doesn't matter, you survive it, but now that there is actually high stakes, it's just completely different experience. So I'll slowly build up my lap times, because again, if I crash there, Quali is over for me. Good afternoon, Liminal. And the engine sounds are not yet properly fixed, so you will hear a bit of weird transition from on throttle to off throttle. And today we will be competing probably for P3. Let's see. Issue is there are 3 Brabhams, which are driven by the actual Brabham team, which is still quite insane. That you have like a sim racing team as the Brabham. I don't even know. Like it's Brabham, the actual real racing team that still exists, and they have their sim racers. that they're racing the Brabhams here. And those Brabhams are really good in low speed corners. They don't have the most power, but they are really nimble around Monaco. So I have good sector 3, but they absolutely destroy me in the first 2 sectors. Hi Ankesh, hi HSM, and yeah, I use H pattern. Although it's a bit easier in RF2 because the clutch and the gearbox are not properly modeled, so you don't need to use clutch. You can kind of just rev match. You have to blip throttle on downshifts, and you need to wait for the shift to be completed, otherwise you miss the gear kind of, but yeah, no need to actually have the clutch operated, so makes it a lot simpler. I'm scared. You wouldn't believe how fast one can take that chicane. And the delta in the middle of my dash, the overlay is delta to my PB. Tenth and half of the Brabhams, but you saw that I lost half a second in the chicane. It's just so scary. And my apologies in advance already, but it will be difficult to read the chat. Because there is no straight here at Monaco where you wouldn't have to do at least something. At least upshifting or something. Aye, that wasn't the best. It's a proper Russian roulette, or like I don't know. It's that chicane. You have to attack it. Like you can go 50 kph slower and it's still gonna be same scary or same dangerous. So you might as well send it, but for 100 laps. Oof. The last lap. Let's see what happens in the last lap. Anyway, into the box. Oof. I really cannot imagine how it was back in the days, like in real life. It's absolute madness. I mean, if you messed it up, it wasn't like a solid wall. It was something that you could like just crash across. It was just like some planks or wooden boards and some stuff in the ground. But I mean, if you hit that at 100 kph, still, you still had great chances of a big injury. Russian roulette is actually safe. Yeah, I mean, we have done this with the old 54 sports cars, like the modded Shelby Cobra, and that thing was, in some way, it was better because it's just so much heavier and so much slower. But this car is just so grippy and difficult. So I was on this setup now. Let me quickly try this, because I did some gear clicks and I am not fully sure what's gonna happen. But the issue is that in Quali, if I crash, it's Quali over. But in race, if I crash, it's race over, and I have to take the reserve car for round 3. Because they're kind of simulating like chassis rebuilding and so on, and many teams didn't have the budgets to just have so many cars or chassis ready. So yeah, that's additional fear. Obviously not as crazy fear as fear of actually killing yourself while racing, but still very present. I'm sorry about the modern gloves, but yeah, I don't have leather air specific gloves, and I really need gloves because I already have blisters from racing this. Like, yeah, I can go very slow and I still feel the same scare. So just have to send it and hope for the best. But it's a tiny car, so there is great chance of it actually going through the gap. And that's a PB, a couple of milliseconds. Just need to turn off the brain through the chicane. Ah! I missed the gear. Wait, if I too late to request a pit stop. Need to do another lap. It was still a PB, you know. But where is my LCD? It's visible on the camera, right? I have to fix the camera brightness still. But that's a P1 for now. That's properly scary. Alright. Thank you, Eric, for the feedback about it. I mean, it's RF2, and like RF2 is losing a bit of fan base, of course, with it not being updated anymore and so on. But stuff like this is a really good usage for RF2, and there is, I mean, you can have, or you have a couple of historic leagues, really good leagues in Assetto Corsa. But I really don't like how AC handles a couple of things like curbs or collisions. And I'm just very comfortable with R Factor 2. And it's just such a joy to do this, especially now that HRSC has been formed and is going quite well with different historic season each year. Right, let's just survive the chicane. In round 1, remember, I crashed on the cooldown lap. Just lost the rear, and then the grass had like wet grip properties, and I just went straight off. Request pit. Alright, well, that's been the second run, and I really thought that the Brabants would be super fast, but I think I think in Quali the difference is less, because the Brabants use a lot less fuel. So they have to start with less fuel, and we are not doing brave, and we are not doing any pit stops here because it takes like 2-3 minutes to fill up. Might have to change the rears. Right, I said I would try to fix the camera because it's quite bright. Just let me find a bright spot on track. That's safe to park. That gives a yellow flag. I think I should be fine to park here without yellows. No. The pit lane actually starts around here, effectively. Still not. Anyway. Where is the settings? Again, it's already on 0, the gain. I mean, let's maybe try doing less exposure. I don't even know, like it's quite bright tarmac. Well, I hope that's marginally better. But it's super bright surface and it's very sunny, so should be watchable. Hey Joao. Wait, where is LCD? Ah, yeah, okay. wrong monitor, of course, then it doesn't work. I just don't want to block anybody, but people are coming constantly. Alright then, another run. Although now that I'm in P1, I kind of feel like I shouldn't really risk it. I'm just checking the preview in OBS. I think it looks decent. Like, shadows are looking exactly the same as for me. Just in some places the asphalt is very bright, but not much I can do about the camera now. Joao, I'm not in the spare car because there has been a rule amendment. Because there has been a little bit of a bug with damage for cars in the round 1. That made it way too easy to lose tires. And therefore we have been allowed to, well, repair the cars, you know. Okay then. Oh, Devin in P1. Ow. Need to abandon the chicane. I don't think the damage is too big. There are some curves that kind of just straighten the car, but you don't really collide much with them. Ooh. Luca, yes, I just went out of the Monaco casino and now I'm suddenly in a car, so a shirt works well. Also have all the Rafa shirts in cleaning, so or in the laundry. Come on. Uh-oh. No tires lost, but... Sorry. Sorry. Right, well that's gonna be it for this quali session anyway. Although... I don't think I have huge damage. Car still going straight. Oh, yeah, that was full send in the chicane. But had to do it. I locked up a little bit into the hairpin and then into the last corner as well. I wasn't fully happy with those, but I don't think I lost any time with it anyway. Gain 10.5 in the chicane. Yeah, I think I carried quite a speed there. Also the tunnel was nice. So I need roughly 2 liters per lap. Yeah, Shiny, trying our best. That stuff on the right side apex in the chicane has a little bit of a wiggle room, like I touched it once, just marginally, and I was able to clip through it like 1 or 2 centimeters, so it's a bit less scary, but it's still scary. The rear tires are a lot wider than the front, so you can survive with the front, but then the rear kills you. Anyway, one last attempt. I don't know. Tires are kind of gone. I'm not gonna improve that. So let's just survive a nice cruise back into the pit lane. And let's hope that Devin doesn't beat me. Yeah, I don't have the most transparent or informative overlay for this. But I thought having a bit less info would make it more era correct. But I mean, I already know a lot more than they did back in the days. I have the standings, the relative, the actual exact fuel level, and calculation how many laps I can do, and prediction of the fuel saving and so on. Anyway, I can do this as well. And I've been in the pits, so that's a pole position. That's incredible. I really did not expect this, because Eagle is very good in high speed, like it's a lot more powerful than the Brabham. But the Brabham is a lot lighter. But anyway, let's see what happens in the race. A bit of a pit practice. Because we might have to change the rears midway through the race. Ooh. Let me check the replay of the chicane. This kerb on the right is super scary as well. You have to go close to it, you know, of course, because there is such a narrow entry into the chicane, but if you touch it, then you might as well just flat out it into the hay bales there. That's quite close. That's quite close as well. I went closer in the past. But this one is scary as well on the exit. I think the hay bales are not collidable though, but the kerb is. This wall is a bit annoying because the rear is kind of dancing around and it can easily touch the curb. There we go into warm-up. Have to join the briefing.
Oh. Can I just restart warm-up after?
I'm going to fucking kill myself at this point. Just
see ya.
When you gonna fully restart both servers anyway?
I'm just legitimately so fucking done with everything.
Is something going on with the warm-up?
15 minutes session instead of 30.
What?
I know you literally set it up earlier. This fucking
15 is fine, right?
No, it isn't. Thanks to the fucking great server.
Yeah. So guys, this is what happens if you try to manually. Or like to do the servers yourself, and everything in RF2 suddenly disintegrates sometimes for no reason. So forgive Nico for being mad, but it's it's a bit of a weak point of RF2, I suppose.
And if it does, you can manually dial it in one by one via chat command.
Can't wait.
And also it shouldn't reduce and it also shouldn't lose the rubber, correct?
If you've set it up not to lose the rubber, yeah.
It shouldn't lose the rubber.
If you've set it up to anything else but naturally progressing, it's going to overwrite the rubber.
Well, anything that I know about R-Factor 2 is that a lot of things are a way that they should be, and then there's a way that they actually turn out to be, because haha! But this time today, it wasn't anything with our server, it wasn't anything with that, it was the fault of Orange. So somehow I can blame this on Jos Verstappen.
Calm down.
Nope.
I'm just going to say Hermann Tilke. Hopefully you leave the room and someone else takes over.
Yeah. Either way. Welcome to round 2 briefing. Thank you everyone for showing up. Jackson Robelot has not signed out and isn't showing up, so that's the first unreported absence. So strike 1. If a second one of those happens, then that entry is open again. Round 2 briefing, Monaco. We are, you know the circuit, except that we have the 66 layout here. 100 laps, so I was a bit optimistic with the presumed 2 hours. It's going to probably be around 2 hours 15 to 2:25. Around that area, if everything goes smoothly. That's the operative word. That should hopefully be the case. Starting procedure as always is a standing start, no formation lap. Lapping is a very crucial point this time around, because I already said this last time, but we had quite a few incidents where we had to look twice over it. It's Grand Prix racing blue flag rules. So if you plan to let someone through, you have to properly let off the throttle with blue flags and stuff. I know that sometimes the blue flags can also show up only very, very late. So please keep a lookout for that as well, just to make sure that there's no accidents or moments where you get caught out and all that stuff. If you let someone through, please move off the racing line before a corner and then slow down. Brake as well to actually let them through so they can go into the corner unimpeded. I saw it a couple of times that people were going deep into the corner, just basically like staying on the racing line, then going deep to let you through. People that are lapping you cannot anticipate that movement, so please just do it like in the way more predictable manner. Track limits it's Monaco. It's either the wall or the harbor, so have a field day with that. It's still enforced by the in-game system, but I don't see a situation where that could be a thing. Pit lane, since we will probably have some crashes and stuff. If you get damaged, you can return to the pit lane. It's right next to the start-finish straight. There's no pit wall, so there's no speed limit, but you're still required to safely enter and exit the pit lane and the pit box Additional note to turn 1 and stuff, because everything here is a lot faster than at Modern Monaco. Watch when you're rejoining as well for lapping cars or cars that are coming up next to you, or all that stuff. Carrying on with a broken car on that note, if you only have severely broken suspension, you can attempt to make it back. Do so safely and cautiously. Don't crash into people, because that'll be very highly penalized, obvious reasons. If you lose at least one wheel, if any wheel is off 1, 2, 3, or all 4, if you go full bathtub, you must retire the car immediately. A car is counted as critically damaged and needing to be rebuilt, so not available for the next round after this. If 2 or more tires are lost from an incident, or at least 1 tire from the rear axle is lost, and it also breaks the engine, to simulate, gearbox and engine and chassis mount and stuff breaking completely. If a car is critically damaged, blah, blah, blah. The numbers exempt from this are listed down here. Last time, we didn't list that because I thought I had included a new damage file already. However, my absolutely fucking brain-dead ass forgot to do that, so we had basically a damage file with 2 high impact radii sensors, so you could impact with the left side of your car and lose a right side tire. So that is now fixed, and I'm incredibly sorry that that was an inconvenience that you had to deal with, probably as well. That's why for round 1 the reserve car rules are not biting, and you can all just still have free car choice this race. Disconnect, it's the same rule as usual. If we have a mass disconnect again, if Orange can't get their shit together, first of all, we will be writing a very cross letter with lots of expletives, and we will look into a race restart for obvious reasons. If you do disconnect by yourself, you will obviously lose some time and stuff, and the car will be in the status that it was in when you disconnected, so it's not a quick repair. Track map and orange zone. The entire circuit is in orange zone for lap 1. Orange zone is, of course, referring to a heightened caution area of the circuit, which means that if an accident occurs there, this will basically be doubling the minimum penalty at least. The entire circuit is in orange zone for lap 1. Then the other considerable orange zones for the rest of the race are this section from out of the tunnel to Chicane du Port and to the exit of Tabac, simply because it's an incredibly narrow and incredibly fast section of the circuit, and Tabac is basically a ski jump. Are there any questions?
Yes. How many people have to fall off before it counts as a mass disconnect?
50% of running cars.
I think that's maybe on the low side. I would on the high side, I mean.
Okay, then let's say, that would be 10 people, so let's say if we have a continuous disconnect at the same time of 5 to 6 people, we'd look into restart then. At that point, we would be cutting the race distance down as well, because time schedules are fun today. Either way, as long as we finish the race, as long as people finish the race and are in the top 8, full points will be given nevertheless. Any other questions?
I do want you're restarting the warm-up after this.
Yes, we will restart the warm-up once, because, Formula B is still going on with 10 laps. So if you have to pee or have to do anything else, you can do that after the briefing. Any other questions? Jerry, I think you were...
Yeah, bit more clarification on blue flags. It's like more focused on the entry of the corner.
Just generally, if you see people coming up to lap you, you have to actually get out of the way and slow down. Like we saw it in the last race quite a few times, that people kept on going, like in Carrera Mundial, where it's multi-class racing, which is a completely different set of blue flag rules. Here you actually have to slow down, let the other person pass, and then go on. Because quite literally, even if you're in a position fight, the other person has to do the same thing. If they don't, they will get a penalty from it if they impede people unnecessarily and in repeat cases, as happened in the last race.
By the way, having driven in FB, if you have to lap in the tunnel, extra careful, or just compromise your own lap time as the one who's lapping, because it's really hard to actually get out of the way there at speeds, I've noticed.
Keep in mind as well that we have cars with very greatly differing handling characteristics. from 5 to 740 kilos in empty weight alone. So just pay attention to that as well. On both sides, like pay attention to your own car and pay attention to what the car in front could be doing. Just drive predictable, and let's not kill each other.
Yeah, this is a deadly track with a small mistake.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's exercise
Another question.
the gentlemanly part of this. Let's try to give each other give and take.
Frennick?
So how much time do we have left with warm up and so we can do our human pit stop?
15 minutes, roughly.
Thank you very much.
Right. Are there any other questions?
Are you having fun, Nico?
No. I'd be having a lot
Monaco.
more fun if Orange wasn't trying its best to get me suicidal.
I have a question.
Yes, what?
What's your opinion on Hermann Tilke?
Scum of the earth ruined all of the racetracks in the world, and somehow keeps getting jobs to make more bad ones.
Get him
You
off
gotta
the
give him credit.
soapbox. Let's
he,
go
he has
racing.
he has that Andrew Tate profit grind of using
Devin,
3 corners to make 19 different racetracks.
Devin, why?
Right. Anyone else? Anyone actual question? Right. Then we will restart warm up in a moment. I will restart it basically with a minute left to go, so we have as much time as hopefully possible. Everyone is back on the server. Yes, everyone is back on the server. Excellent. So Franek should also be on. Right. Then everyone dismissed. When the warm-up session is restarted, feel free to do some race field practice and stuff. And yeah, ta-da. Thanks for attending again, and sorry for the issues. Briefing over. Have fun, and
Thanks,
good
guys.
luck.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Nico and Steph. Good
Good
luck.
luck.
Thanks,
everyone.
everybody.
Give Nico
No
like
heroics
2
at
car
Sandy
wins
Wall.
dice.
Okay. Right. Devin is the dev, yes. Right. I'll let you listen and watch a bit of a V8 while I take a 2-minute break. I will be right back. All right. So, what did he say? 10 laps to go. That was like 10 minutes ago. 10 laps to go, Formula B. And if you don't know what Formula B is... warm-up restarted. Okay. It's Formula A and Formula B. Formula B is like Formula 2, slower, lighter. And it's only 50 laps. Kind of like split 2. But this is Formula A, and we are waiting for Formula B to be over because they had a little bit of a server shutdown because what you heard from Nico with the ISP trolling him. Anyway, I hope everything is visible on stream. I think the... Okay, this is on, right? Wait, where are you? Yeah, this should work. We're a bit extra inside. Alright, now I have, well, 200 liters of fuel, so it will feel a lot different. A lot more planted. Right, debris are collidable, so that's not the best. Shame there is no yellow flag for debris. But they sometimes stay on track for a bit too long. Actually, wait, was there like an option? I think back in F1 Challenge days, or was it RF1 days, there was an option for how many seconds after the crash the debris stay on track. And you could make it 2 minutes. Understeer. But the car has to be made understeery because in the long run the front aren't really getting worn, but the rears are getting absolutely destroyed. I don't know why my virtual mirror is so squashed vertically. Ow. That was a very vertically squashed incident in the mirror. More stuff flying around. What was that? A suspension? I really wonder what pace will we stabilize at. Because full push pace can go into 25s even, otherwise like 26s. Or in the long run realistically 27s, but that's risky. Yeah, but indeed let's see who is prepared to start pushing harder first. And I'm pretty happy I'm on pole because I think the Brabhams behind would otherwise just disappear into the distance. Also keep in mind, this is simulating the 67 season, and the Eagle in 67 had 1-year-old engine for the first 2 rounds, and then they had a big, like 40 horsepower improvement for round 3. And round 3 will be at Zandvoort. And I'm already having quite an engine advantage over the Brabhams, but it's a lot heavier. The Eagle. And I don't know if it's gonna become even heavier, but yeah, I don't want to crash it, because if I crash it then I don't get to even use the updated car next round, because I will be forced to use the spare. And that's not great. But a super safe coasting around gives me, yeah, 5 seconds of pace lap times. But that might be necessary. I think most of the cars actually get upgraded. But gaining 35 or 40 horsepower from, like, I think now I have 365. I should have 400 for round 3, and then some extra for last 3-4 rounds. $29.3. Yeah, I did 26.6, I think, as PB on full tank. But if you watch me drive now, probably you'll scratch your head about where am I supposed to gain 3 seconds and more. I don't know how to reset the delta, to be honest, as well. It just takes the best ever lap set. Oh, that brake board is collidable. Oh dear, that's my only brake marker. Yeah, I can always delete the file, but I kind of don't want to. Probably there is a setting that lets you choose what delta you want, like best ever or session best. It does feel weird to be able to actually have a proper warm-up. In all the series that we are doing, it just goes straight from race, from quali to race, and maybe we get like 2 laps, not 2 laps, like 2 corners of warm-up. If we properly e-sported this combination, that would be extremely insane. Because probably we would be carrying insane speeds through the chicane every single lap. And going like 2 centimeters away from the walls. It would just look incredible. Need to apply a bit of throttle on some entries to avoid the rear locking up and sending you into the wall. And it cannot be fixed by brake balance, because the front is already locking up elsewhere. And yeah, there is chicane and then there is chicane in traffic. Ow. Rip. I don't understand what happened with my mirrors. I think the FOV is messed up. In name C, that's a great question. I mean, how many cars did finish the actual 67 F1 race around here? Although, well, they DNF'd for different reasons back in the day. Mostly because of mechanical issues. Although it's interesting to consider it, because in that era the drivers weren't really that skilled, right? Much smaller talent pool, and it was a lot more about who has way too much time and money to spend on doing this. So there were some all-time greats, but also some people who should never race cars like this. So, but they all had survival instincts, so if they had to go 10 seconds of pace, they went 10 seconds of pace. I'm noticing I'm using a lot less fuel than anticipated, so might take a bit less for the race start. I'm missing my brake marker. Anyway, it will be back soon. Yeah, the Brabham's doing 26 as they're going for it. 2 seconds faster. I'm just not confident at this point. They will be all over my rear. Jan, I DNF'd from P2 because there was an incident with a back marker. So thing is, let me find my grid position there without impeding somebody. Went through it. Alright. Yeah, I had a bit of a tank slapper. Collected the car barely. Was like half on grass, half on curb. Just slowly rejoining back on the road, and the lapped car behind, I don't know, like he had slide of his own or something, and didn't account for my lower speed, so he couldn't avoid me and collected me, and we, both us and the P3 behind, we all went DNFing. At least we had some laps of fun. Hopefully today we can actually make the whole race distance, but 3 actual Brabhams behind. Again, keep in mind, these 3 guys are actually driving from Team Brabham. Not just in this series, but like they're actually like kind of esports drivers for Brabham. And they're in the Brabham cars. In the Brabham F1 cars. It's so good. Engines can fail, yes. If they overheat or if you go consistently above the safe RPM limit, which for the Eagle that I'm driving is around 11,000 RPM, but it varies across the engines. This mic is actually, I have to fix this at some point. The mic is blocking my stream deck, where I have also mapped the controls for the pit stops and so on. Okay, let me maybe take 2 liters less than this. Maybe set the pit stop like this in case I need it. And get ready. Rip. What a launch. Crazy. Alright, well, nothing I can do about it. Now I have 2 Brabhams ahead. And they are not afraid to go for it. Joao, that's kind of illegal, maybe. Oh, it was the third Brabham, Sido. The DNF there. Ah, poor guy. I think Devin gained like half a second through tunnel. It really surprised me by how slow my start was. It wasn't particularly bad, but the Brabhams just rocket off. Thought they would struggle a little bit more with the traction because they are lighter, but they immediately just disappeared. Well, not a battle that I have expected. Now, I'm really confused by the mirror. Like, the FOV of the mirror is fully off, so I didn't really have idea how close he was, and I let the door opened. Anyway, he seems to be having a bit more pace at the moment. Oh, that's lucky escape for Nico. But if he has to push and risk this much, then he's also kind of destroying his tires. Ooh, Nico. Okay. I think he kind of survived, like I don't know how, but oof, okay. Yeah, mind punt intensifies. No, but like he was really pushing, I was kind of surprised. And now we are already 7 and 9 seconds behind the Brabhams. Oh well. Maybe they're pushing hard as well, who knows? But the car will become more and more oversteery because the fronts are not really getting any thermal degradation. They're getting a bit of wear, but not anything extreme. But the rear is very hot. That's a tire, luckily off the racing line. Bonjour, Pierre. Remember the race last year around here with the 54 sports cars? It was Bert Knops, who is now in P2. I think it was him, right? Yeah, must have been him. He was in the... What was he driving? Not sure if it was... Maybe it was the Jaguar. And I was in the Ferrari. And he pulled a big gap. But he destroyed the tires, so in the end I caught up with him after 2 hours and a half of racing. And we had a big battle. I kind of hope something similar can happen today. That tire will never disappear, will it? And changing of the rear axle is like 22 seconds, plus the stopping and going. So let's see how the cars feel after half a race. kind of extra corner reference, you know. The broken tire. Yeah, I need to get my way down into 27s. I'm still doing 28s now. Still not a 27. Yeah, I don't know whose tire it is, and I wonder where Nico is. I don't have time to scroll through. I don't think Nico lost the tire, right? It was somebody else. The tire feels like it's going closer and closer to the track, but I don't know. I don't want to find out if it's collidable or not. 15 seconds to Devin. I mean, you know, Jack Brabham won a lot at Monaco, but if this is how the BOP was, then it's not a wonder. But our party will come at Monza and at Spa and so on. Hopefully. Zandvoort is quite open as well, right? It's the old circuit. Yeah, the tire is indeed more closer and closer to the track. I just need to get in a good, safe and solid speed groove to avoid chances of silly crashes. And then I need to keep my gap to like 23-24 seconds max, just in case they at some point really destroy the tire and have to box. That means that they will exit behind me. That was a misshift. Okay, it's not collidable. I went through it. But I mean, I don't really want to drive through that tire every lap. I did set my third gear to a reasonable size, or like to reasonable ratio, so I can use it out of the back and out of first corner to avoid upshifting, but it just reaches 11,000 RPM at the end of the two straights, well, curved straights, and at 11,000 RPM the power drops extremely. And also the engine wear accelerates extremely, so I'm better off just lifting, coasting a little bit. I wonder what laws of physics that tire is obeying. I think as well, the longer we go into the race, the less disadvantage I will have, because the Eagle is burning the most fuel of all, I believe. I hope. I know that some cars can start the race with like 110 liters. I had to use like 190. And it is like 1 second per 50 liters or per 70 liters. I hope the tire will not start obstructing vision at some point. What's going on behind for P5? constantly looking at that tire, which means I'm looking too little at the actual apexes. $27.9, finally 27s. And then I suddenly went from 27.9 to 27.2. I mean, I'm gonna take it. Just 21 more sorry, 81 more chicanes to go. And I'm getting scarily confident about the chicane. Yeah, I'll force myself not to ever brake after 100-meter board there into the chicane. I broke at like 75 once and I made it. But it's too risky. And for the time being the car is not becoming oversteery, so I guess the tire management of the rears is doing well. Love the sparks. Yeah, we actually have to set up the cars not to have grounding or too much grounding. Thank you. It would be nice if there was like a server command to remove all debris. But I suppose we are stuck with that tire bugged onto the apex. Imagine if it was collidable and not removable. Suddenly we would have a hairpin instead of chicane. It was almost a bit of a Scandi flick. 27-0. Yeah, the car will be faster and faster for sure as the fuel wears down, or burns down. I think it's that yellow zebra, like the road crossing that kicks out the rear. I can start feeling a bit of rear unhappiness. Or maybe I just overheated the rear a bit. And the gap to the Brabhams is kind of stabilized. And it should only become better and better, I think. Slowly but surely forgetting the fear of the chicane. Which again is a bad and a good thing at the same time. 20 seconds to Devin. This corner is so weird. You almost lose the car, but it turns out that you could have braked even later, but more gently. lost a whole second this lap. I already want to jump in the harbor, like without the car, physically. That was close. So with perfectly clean lap, I'm matching the leader. That's good. That was costly. Oh, that was almost costly as well, if you saw the mirror. Yeah, Oscar, I mean, I would prefer a bit less of a gap to the Brabhams, but I shouldn't complain. No pressure from behind anymore. And I'm matching the Brabhams on a good lap. Although Devin is now at the cutoff. Couple more seconds and he can have a free pit stop for the rears. In case he needs them. I'm gonna dream about this chicane for a couple of weeks. Each lap is a near-death experience. Hey Hachemi, it is in places. I mean, no barriers and so on in some places. This section specifically feels very large. Uh-oh. He hasn't survived this one. Well, the world is cruel, and my biggest worry about this crash is that now Devin has a pit stop on me because I had to basically stop on the track. Ay, 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 ay. I was kind of lucky there that the crash went into the right direction, so I could survive it on the clean side of the track, where or like on the racing line. But how did Knops in P2 lose so much ground to Devin in P1? The worst thing is that this bugged tire is still there. I mean, would it be better if it was collidable and somebody fully took it off and went into the harbor with it? It does feel to me that maybe P2 is possible here. 1/3 of the race is gone. But I maybe should have the tires and the pace to catch Bert. That was around 27.5. Like if I start doing 26s, I will catch Bert, surely. The issue is I cannot just start doing 26s without going closer to the walls. This would be even crazier if there were punctures and tire rubber damage. And then we would have to avoid all the curbs as well. Apart from this one, maybe. Just about matched my PB. It would be nice if I enabled on the overlay to show the last and best lap. Maybe for the round 3. But I'm just judging the lap times now from the Delta and assuming that my best is around 24.0 from Quali. It's just weird because generally RF2 damage or like RF2 debris is collidable and you can go very high up in the air if you go over it. But sometimes it bugs. I'm catching the Brabhams, right? Both of them. Like just a little bit. Yeah, those both left side tires of the car ahead should pop or leave their wheel rims over that curb. But luckily or unluckily, RF2 doesn't simulate it. I think that turn 1 squealing is not coming from front left, but the rear left. That's a bit of a worry. Oh, that's Shepard ahead. He was on my gearbox in the first laps. Good that he managed to survive his shunt. Ah, 26-9, the first one. If I keep it there, that's good. Thank you. Yeah, Namesy, indeed. Or well, I mean, he did move over before he started impeding me too much, so all good. Okay, that was too close. Hi Casper, it is indeed. Even though I'm probably looking like I'm going through very big suffering here, but it's mentally really challenging at the same time, knowing that if I bin it, I don't even have a car for round 3 unless I take the very slow reserve car. Now there are 2 tires there. I wonder if one is non-collidable and the other is collidable. Formula B indeed, but I mean, I tried yesterday the spare car, which is the Formula B with more powerful engine, and that was one of the worst sim racing experiences of my life. Completely undrivable. But it's very light and nimble and it works well at Monaco. But probably not at Zandvoort. I don't want to find out anyway, so... the other tire has gone. But one still remaining, and it's kind of moving around, right? Even though it's not collidable. But yeah, this Eagle is just so nice. Quite drivable, quite predictable. A lot heavier than the Brabants, but more powerful, so it's pretty nice experience to race. The pace is looking good as well. Now we're in low 26s. Just need to be a bit more careful with fuel. Because I'm burning more than at the start. That quadruple exhaust setup is insane. Somebody else didn't listen to the briefing, but I was far enough that I didn't get caught up. It's generally not a good idea to go out of corner and lift when you have somebody behind. Oof. It felt like that was a bit weird. I don't know. Yeah, let me check if the car is fine. It felt like it went sideways where it shouldn't. I don't know. Probably lost 2 seconds with... I don't know, it's something... I felt something in the FFB that really disrupted me. Too fast onto the throttle, so missed the gear. No, the car is fine, I don't know what I felt. Where do you have damage from? Cannot really remember hitting anything. Maybe I just scrapped some kerb very gently. To see the state of the tires, right? And you see the temperatures. The front are not getting any thermal drag, but the rear are getting some. I mean, these old tires are very slow wearing and quite indestructible. but the balance shift still keeps happening. And I've been very smooth on the rear. I really tried not to destroy them. Yeah, Jesper, no tie. I mean, dressed for the casino, but no ties, as Oscar says, although, you know... What was it? When they tried to figure out what happened to Alberto Ascari at Monza when he crashed, I read about some stories that he had a tie as well, because he arrived there not to race, but just like to check things, but then they gave him the car. And then there was a theory, or like, well, not a theory, a thought that he like choked on the tie, or like that the tie messed his driving, but... Although that's probably the least likely of the explanations. To be honest, this is the casino, you know, with the chicane. Yeah, Oscar. That, and also, what was the other story? That there was like a gardener that crossed the road in a weird place. I don't even know what was the exact overall explanation. Yeah, I'm thinking, Oscar, I'm thinking. Thing is, that Nico has gone around again, but he survived. Thing is that it seems like I have better tires than the Brabham guys. Potentially. And I don't really know how much quicker I could go with fresh set. And then, you know, if I box, they can easily box right after me. Oh, that was wrong gears. Yeah, my brain CPU is clipping, it's on max. And that's not a good thing to have. Yeah, Oscar, exactly. So 22, I mean, it would be around 25, 26 seconds of loss for the whole pit stop. Can I gain half a second per lap by changing the rears, is the question. I don't know if I can. But then the question is as well, how bad are the rears gonna be for like front to rear balance towards the end of the race? It could get nasty. Thank you, Nico. As we go to lap him. Yeah, he was P3 after some laps, if you remember. Yeah, I wonder. I think I can catch Knops on this pace, on this set of tires. I think I can. I cannot catch Devin, but if their tires are worse, then Devin is maybe thinking of pitting, but he cannot pit because he doesn't have the pit delta. Oh shit! Guys, it ends here. The rulebook says if the tire is missing, we have to retire. No! No, no, no. What am I doing? Okay, this could be a blessing in disguise, you know. Because my brain, like I told you, my brain was overloaded. Such a shame though, like it... Let me just quickly check what happened, because I think I have an explanation. But 2 DNFs into races. Well, one wasn't my fault, because I got crashed into by lapped car in round 1, but this one is fully on me. Is this the lap? We talked about the curbs, right, before. We talked about the curbs and they don't blow the tire. But physics is physics, it works. That's the most random way to DNF. Guys, round 3 I will survive. I promise. I mean, I shouldn't be promising, but it's gonna be good at some point. Oh no! That's such a shame. But you know what? I did exactly the same thing in 1954 cars, and I got a bit of damage, but it didn't kill my pace. But I think what happened in 1954 last year, I think it was not this curb, but it was this curb, where I was a bit sideways and I clipped it with the rear, and it rotated me into that wall, but it didn't give me huge damage, it was just a little bit. Yeah, I mean, this is really good, like physics-wise, you cannot get better than this, apart from a puncture, but... Yeah, it did exactly what it should do, right? That's disappointing. Zandvoort finish for 100 push-ups. This, I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I was thinking that, oof, it's gonna be a long one. Like, I didn't want to start complaining out aloud, but when you're pushing this close to the limits for such a long time, you really start appreciating how people 60 years ago raced here. Like, they surely didn't go remotely this close to the limits, through the chicane especially. But I crashed here. In practice, I crashed here. I remembered the last year's incident around here, and I said, I'm not gonna crash there anymore. I always left a bit of space here. And then I hit this curb, like... And there is nothing I can say about it. Nothing more to explain. Apart from the fact that I binned it. If I boxed, the rear wouldn't slide that much, and I would survive. Okay, maybe we can check a little bit of a start replay to see how I lost the lead. Initial launch was good. And suddenly the Brabhams just... It's really mentally, it's so challenging. I remember Dundrod. I'm not sure if you guys remember that race in 1954 cars. But that track is very long and very fast. And there are no barriers, but there are only hedges. Maybe there is an odd barrier or two, but mostly hedges and bushes. And that was like 3 hours of pushing, and that one was one of the most demanding, probably the most demanding race in my whole sim racing career. Yeah, my brain is gone. To be honest, I'm super disappointed and very sorry that the show is over, but at the same time, it got into my mind. Like, I started to feel like I cannot continue pushing like that. I need to start, maybe, to work out a bit more. To have my mind better prepared. Like, physically I'm fine, but just mentally it's... I don't know how to prepare even for that. Not sure what else to check. There have been multiple deaths. Maybe just quick check on how Nico overtook me, because it was a good move from him. Two races at Monaco, at historic Monaco, and I binned it 2 times. The first time it was in the last few minutes, battling for the win. Today it was at the midpoint. Yeah, it was just a clean overtake. Nothing more I can say about it. Well, neck sidewalks. What do you mean? They well, some sidewalks cause problems, some don't. Maybe let me just find my fastest lap. It was this one. Just to see, because it was really good. There is no VMS tomorrow. So I don't plan to stream tomorrow, but we have the LMGT3 fixed championship on Tuesday, but the whole week is dedicated to Le Mans 24, to the Virtual Endurance Championship 1. Well, that's the way to take an apex, right? Oops, wrong button. That's millimeter perfection. If I only could carry that perfection all the way. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, well, time to start gaining some respect towards these cars. Hi Fabio, yeah, indeed. Indeed. It wasn't even that much on the limit, I mean, yeah. I even messed it up here. Missed the apex. Yeah, the pace was just about to start coming towards me. I would have catched Knops, I think. But it is how it is. You know what, as a closing remark, I still have a car for round 3. Because only one tire on the front got detached, engine was running, the rear was fine, so the car is, by the rulebook, repairable. So we have the car for round 3 ready. And maybe in lap 75, if I continued, I would have binned it in the chicane and I would have the spare car then for round 3. So... well... not even gonna get a point because I'm not top 8. We were wondering how many people will survive the race. Well, 10 are already out, including me. How did Sido DNF? That was the most unfortunate one. I thought there is already a car, but well, that's not part of the race. What? That's the worst. That's there is a car without or like a driver without a car for round 3. Or maybe Brabham is exempt because they are simulating kind of rich teams having enough spares to build the car again. I did this in practice once. Like, the car just jumps so much. That's the worst. Like, if it happens in lap 1, then you're just without a race. But at least I got a proper experience. And then poor Niklas couldn't avoid. Oof. What's that? Tire gone or not? Ah. The tire clipped into the wall, but it's still there. Lucky. Well, time to enjoy some sun. It's always a sunny day outside when I bin it. Any more to be said? GG Brabham for now. Nico bin. Wait, I have to see how Nico binned it. Because it was a huge one. And he survived. Let me just see this. He's already P9 here. Yeah, that was us. P3, P4. could have floored it through, to be honest, but yeah. Yeah, that's the thing. The front tire gets through, but the rear is a lot wider. Just about caught the bump. Probably no damage from this even. He got super lucky. Super lucky. Who's that? Another Ferrari. Ooh, why is he turning right there? Alright. Well, time to be disappointed, but to be in the sun, so that's fine. Well guys, I hope you enjoyed at least the 55 laps and the pole position. And some better races for us coming, because the car will receive a 40 horsepower update for round 3 at Zandvoort. And it's gonna be quite nice. And potentially I can even complete the whole race. Till that time comes, see you, bye bye. And of course, come on. Yeah, basically the mic is obstructing my stream deck, and then I have a different screen with all the assignments. So I have to go out of that one, and then I have the the buttons to end the stream. Right, here is the button. Again, second attempt. Bye bye.